What is going on, everyone? It's GeneralTarheel bringing you the APA Wi-Fi Season 2 Week 5 battle versus Coach PaullyMac and the West Coast Wingulls. Coming into Week 5, we did get our win against Coach Corey and the Band of Coach Corey or the Band of Caterpie and the Buffalo Buzzwolves last week with a nice 2-0. And hopefully to continue the streak against Pauly this week. Pauly did take over as of last week when he faced Kelly under the radar. So Pauly's sitting at a 1-3 record, but really he's only 0-1 in this league since he did take over for a former coach. He is rocking a rain team, and his roster consists of Mega Swampert, Pelipper, Kingdra, Heliolisk, Tyrantrum, Superior, Mimikyu, Umbreon, Klefki, Golurk, and Swellow. And his two Z users are Heliolisk and Mimikyu. Rain does scare my team a little bit, only because Kingdra's a monster, but really, I have my Lodic, which is a good wall, and Serena does work. And then Mega Scizor's Mega Scizor's weakness in fire is reduced if it's in rain. So I kind of benefit a little bit from rain, but at the same time, it's still scary because Kingdra is a monster, Specs Pelipper, Hurricane is a monster, Mega Swampert can be a monster if you don't have a good bulky grass type that can handle its Ice Punch and stuff like that. So, and as for my team, I felt a few things that had good matchups, and then the rest of my team just had awful matchups, like my ground types and Gliscor and Claydol, and then I had a bad matchup with like Druddigon. Gengar got walled by Umbreon, and it was just small things like that. So, as for my team build, the main part I wanted to rotate around was not letting him sweep, because he has a lot of sweeping potential between Mimikyu, his two range sweepers in Kingdra and Swampert. Pelipper even does damage, and then Superior with Leaf Storm, Contrary Sweep, and then of course the Dragon Dance Tyrantrum. The main thing I wanted to do was be able to get all those things toxic, so they cannot stay in for as long as possible, unless he just wants to get off as much damage, and then I just have to do whatever I need to do. But the main Pokemon that revolves around that plan was my Greninja. I had a Focus Sash Torrent Greninja. This was max speed offensive with Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and Toxic Spikes. So his only hazard removers are the Pelipper and the Swellow. You would not bring a Defog Swellow, and Defog Pelipper would only exist if it was a sorry. If it was a bulky Pelipper to take on the Entei and my Mega Scizor, and it had the Damp Rock and stuff like that. So that was the only way he was going to have Defog, otherwise he'd be an offensive Pelipper. So there was a good chance he wasn't going to have any hazard removal. That's why T-Spike's Greninja looked really nice, because it affects 8 out of his 11 Mons, excluding the Pelipper, Klefki, and the Swellow. So, and Greninja just had a very strong offensive presence as well. Of course, it doesn't do much to the Umbreon, but it does get the Ice Beam counter for the Superior. Grass Knot allows it for sure KO on the Mega Swampert. And then the Dark Pulse just gives me coverage on everything else that's really necessary. So, Greninja, decent offensive Pokemon, but mainly just there to set up the T-Spikes. Hopefully 2 sets, that way that it's Padley Poison, and that's how it racks up more on his setters. And then next up I had the Rabombe, which was a counter to some of his sweepers once again, which was Choice Scarf. This had U-Turn, Bug Buzz, Moonblast, and Energy Ball. Energy Ball was, of course, a one-shot on that Mega Swampert. That's why I needed it. Also, Scarf for Bombay is capable of outspeeding a modest Kingdra in rain, as well as a timid or not Jolly or adamant Mega Swampert in rain. So, and all of his Scarf potential, except for like a Scarf Swallow, which would be the dumbest set of all time. But that was the thought process behind Rabombe. I knew he would probably run Timid Kingdra just because he would see that, but it's okay. Rabombe's just here for momentum as well as wearing down team and counter to set up once again. So, and next up we have Serena. Serena was the main answer to Mega Swampert, Kingdra, Heliolisk, and Superior. It countered a lot, which was very nice. I was a mixed bulk with Assault Vest. Mainly it was bulk, but I did have like 76 in attack with Adamant, just to ensure a Drop Kick KO on the Swampert. And then I had a Drop Kick, U-Turn, High Jump Kick, and Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin was just in case he did get up any hazards, whether that be Stealth Rocks and Golurk or something like that. But I was mainly expecting Spike's Klefki, because Klefki I felt like was going to be a good bring for him this match, but of course he didn't bring it. So I wanted to bring Rabbit Spin just in case, because Spikes could have gotten annoying. And basically this just comes in on Hydro Pumps on Kingdra. It walls superior, especially in rain. It can't go for an HP Fire on me and do that much. It takes on Helios. Specs like Hyper Voice Helios would do a decent amount, but basically it just doesn't do much on the Volt Switch momentum. And a Mega Swampert Ice Punch is only doing like a third to the amount of bulk that I had in Serena. So next up we had Mega Scizor. This was a mixed defensive Mega Scizor, mainly Spadef. It was 252 HP, 84 defense, and then the rest in Spadef with a decent amount of speed creep, so the Umbreon couldn't creep me. And I saw on his team builder, I actually perfectly outsped his Umbreon by 1 point, which is pretty awesome. We had Bullet Punch, U-Turn, Roost, and Hindenbauer Electric. Hindenbauer Electric, of course, allowed me to hit the Pelipper, which would be his main counter to Scizor if he did not have Klefki. So there's that. And the Hindenbauer Electric, if he was an offensive Pelipper, would do 85 to a 106 roll, I believe it was something. It was a pretty big roll range, and maybe it was 88 to 106. I know the 106 was max, or maybe it was just 101. Either way, HP Electric did a lot to an offensive Pelipper, and if he was HP invested, I really doubt he was going to be a Spadef invested Pelipper this game. If anything, it was going to be like HP with bulk, so it would do max like 86 at that point, I believe, or something like that. Either way, HP Electric gave me damage off on Pelipper, which is going to be annoying since that is his range setter. It'd be important to get damage off on it. U-turn, of course, for momentum, Roost, so I can have longevity. Considering if I am in rain, Hindenbauer Fire is not going to be doing much to me. And what's the last move? And Bullet Punch, of course, for priority, just in case the superior gets annoying. The Mimikyu. Whether Tyrantrum has a D-Dance up, stuff like that. Of course, it doesn't do much to his rain Pokemon, but it's fine. Next up, we have Milotic. Milotic was very important in this match. I had to make a mixed defense with Spadef in order to take on both the Mega Swampert as well as live certain hits from a special offensive Pokemon. Like I needed to make sure after Stealth Rocks, I have to live a Specs Modest Draco Meteor from a Kingdra, live 2 of them back to back, and then if he didn't have Rocks up, my Milotic did live a Choice Specs Modest Hurricane from a Pelipper after Leftovers. I could live 2 of them. And the set for that was Scald, Recover, Toxic, Protect, and Dragon Tail with the Leftovers Marvel Scale. This was basically just to be a Protect stall for the Toxic Spikes, rack up damage, as well as get rid of his rain turns. Dragon Tail was just in case Superior was coming out. I really didn't want that thing to get a free sub or anything, especially if he didn't have rain, because then it's going to do more with HP Fire to Scizor and the Serena. And Dragon Tail, I don't know, it just also helped just in case Kingdra wanted to stay in or something, or if I do have the T-Spikes up, then I can make sure I get everything poisoned, which is important. More than likely, I'm going to be forced to recover against his special offensive rain Pokemon and Kingdra and Pelipper, which kind of sucks, but you know, it's fine. And then next up we have Thundurus. This was a Chilon Berry Thundurus with Thunderbolt, T-Wave, Grass Knot, and Sludge Wave. The Chilon Berry was because I found Swellow to be a major threat near the end of my team build. Thundurus was the 6th mon I added. I know I wanted something like strong, and Thundurus was just a for sure versus the rain team, so Grass Knot a for sure KO on the Mega Swampert. Sludge Wave allowed me to hit the Superior, so it was not allowed to get a free substitute up against me. Thunder Wave was kind of the mistake in my opinion, even though it does help against his flying types. Basically everything else was going to be toxic, so there was really no point in putting it on Thundurus, really, because the Chilon Berry allowed me to live any hit from Swellow. I took like max 56 from a Specs Boom Burst, so, and then T-Bolt would just kill it, so it was really no point in having the T-Wave. I wish I put Focus Blast in order to Umbreon or Volt Switch for momentum, but it's what I had. So at that point, I was really happy not to see the Swellow because I did find it scary, but I really didn't think much of his team. I thought it was going to be a Spadef Umbreon with a defensive Pelipper when I looked at it at first, and then Choice Specs Kingdra and Helios. I knew that for sure when I saw it, and then I was figuring it's going to be a sub Superior, and then SD Z move Mimikyu. That was my initial reaction when I saw his team. And at first I really just want to lead Thundurus because I did not want to have Pelipper just thinking I could set up rain for free initially. So there was that. And load up, please. Thank you. And as we did lead Thunderous, this is where it'd be nice to have Volt Switch, because he did just end up leading Umbreon, predicting that I would just have a strong counter to Pelipper turn 1. So it's a good lead on Pauly's part, leading Umbreon. His Ember Moon. It's a very nice shiny. I love black and light blue, as you can tell from my Charlotte Charizard logo. So as we lead off with our Thunderous, of course can't go for a Volt Switch, so I'm just gonna opt to switch out here. I'm gonna go right into Scizor, as he's just gonna opt to go for the Wish, which I guess was clever on his part, because it countered any possible Fight Z move. He would eat it up and then Focus Blast. I would kill him afterwards, but I would have to land it and he could just protect. Or if I go for a Nasty Plot on turn 1 with Thunderous, then he could protect on the Z move, and then I'll live it because it gets reduced damage. He gets his Wish back. So it was a good play on his part. As we go for the U-turn, seeing he has a Spadef for Umbreon like I predicted. And I'm just going to go right into Rabombe on the incoming Foul Play, which was my prediction. It's either Foul Play or T-Wave. Wait, no, Umbreon doesn't get T-Wave, so Foul Play was for sure. As it does nothing to Rabombe. As he gets his Wish, and after wishing leftovers, unfortunately he's all the way back at full. I'm like, this Umbreon's going to be a pain. I'm like, I could just keep U-turning on it in the game. That was my idea in the team build, but I knew it was still going to be a problem. So I'm just going to go for the Moonblast here, as it hits everything on possible switching. Assuming he'd probably stay in since he is Spadef variant. And does it more than expected, so he's not max Spadef, but he is not defense invested. So he must be running speed for some of my walls or something. As he's just going to get a free switch into Pelipper. And I was really just scared of the Hurricane here, and I really wanted to keep Rabombe in the back. So I'm going to opt to switch out here and go into my my Milotic, I believe. Yep, right into Milotic. As he just opts to go for the U-turn. This is why Pelipper is just so much better than Polytoad. Pelipper's an amazing rain setter now. That's why there's always like one rain team in every draft, just about. Unless people are actually smart and they really just hate weather. But he goes right into Helios. This forces me out 1,000,000%. Even though I can live a Modest Specs T-Bolt from full, because I made sure I could do that. There's no point in doing that with Milotic. It's the most important member to keep healthy. So I'm going to protect, scout what he's going to go for, as he does opt to just go for the Volt Switch for momentum purposes, which is very smart. And I'm just going to get my leftovers be completely at full, which is nice. And now I'm just going to be forced to go into an answer here. I did not want to go into Serena just yet, because that really just allows the Pelipper back in, which is really annoying. So I opted to go in my Scizor here, considering I do have some Spadef invested. And after that, it does show you Modest Specs Volt Switch, which is what I predicted, but I more than less expected Timid over Modest, but Modest is good on his part. So right here, I went for the HP Electric, because even if he was Modest Specs Hurricane, which he was, it was a favor, and it was a roll in my favor to live. And I just want to get damage off with HP Electric, because if he was offensive, he was going to do a lot. If he was defensive, it was outspeed, get off the HP Electric, and it was still going to do a lot. So he got a high roll, and that killed my Scizor, and that caused that Pelipper to be a pain, because if I got all that damage off of one, it could have killed, or two, I'm just going to pause this, or two, I'm just going to run it back as well. Or two, it just can't freely come in on things and risk taking damage, which was pretty important. So it really sucks that he got that high roll. Really unfortunate. But at the same time, rolls aren't really hacks, it's just odds. Hacks aren't really part of that, so it was still changes the game entirely in my opinion. But I'm just gonna go hard into Greninja after Scizor goes down. I'm getting on my T-Spike because I need to at this point. I want to threaten out everything. As he goes into Umbreon instead of Superior, I'm just gonna opt to get up my second layer. I'm not even scared of it. This is really gonna do nothing. If he wants to get up another Wish, that's perfectly fine. As I get up my second layer of T-Spikes, which is very nice, because now everything's gonna be badly poisoned. As he just opts to go for the Baton Pass, which is interesting. As he's going to just go right into his Mimikyu. Now I really want to make sure I can just go ahead and get rid of this thing's Disguise, because I do have the Focus Sash in the back, even if he does go for an attacking move, which is pretty nice. So as he comes in, he does get poisoned and whatnot. I'm just going to click Grass Knot, get the for sure break on the disguise. Don't want to show him Ice Beam just yet, in case Greninja sticks around for Superior. And don't want to risk the Hydro Pump Miss, of course. As we break his disguise, he will opt to just go for the Play Rough straight up and not go for the SD, which is very smart on his part. And as we do proc our Focus Sash, and he will take more toxic damage, which is really nice. As I want to switch out Greninja here, because he will have the Shadow Sneak, and I can save this as a sack for Rain for later if I needed to, or just get off some damage prior if the Umbreon does go down. So I will go into my Milotic as we eat up this Shadow Sneak. It's absolutely nothing. Showing he is not Life Orb, so he is the Z move like I predicted. And he is timid, of course, to outspeed the Entei, as he gets more poison damage off. And here I thought he was going to switch and not stay in, because this could still do work late game. If he could get my Milotic a little bit weaker between his Heliolisk and Superior, but he opted to stay in and go for Swords Dance as I clicked Dragon Tail. So I'm like, crap. And now I could have done two things here. I opted to just go into Greninja and sack it in case he does try to go for a Z move, because +2 Twinkle Tackle will kill my Milotic. Knowing he has, because he should know that I have to be a Spadef Milotic, or at least a decent amount of Spadef Milotic to take on some of his threats. Because a max defense Milotic would live a +2 Twinkle Tackle, but he just opts to go for the Play Rough. I guess he predicted my sack, but that's perfectly fine. Because now I just get to go into my Milotic and click Protect, and if he does go for a Z move, it's going to do nothing. I'm not even worried about it. Because Protect does reduce the damage of the Z move by a lot. As we opt to go for the Protect here, and he does blow out the Z move, but it shows he's not Twinkle Tackle, he's Never Ending Nightmare. So he's got the Shadow Claw Z move for Go C, which is pretty nice. And this is probably one of the coolest animations for Z move in my opinion. It's very spooky, very shook. Dude, it even puts you in a graveyard. You know how like messed up that is? And my Milotic eats that up. Doesn't do more than 20%. Leftovers is gonna get us like a third of that damage back, which is ridiculous. And he will go down to poison, so Greninja avenges itself from the afterlife, which is nice. As it is 4-5 right now, and he will go out into the Heliolisk. Luckily this thing gets poisoned, but as it can't really Volt Switch continuously, it's not like it's going to be that much of a problem for him. Like, it's never really going to take poison damage, which is really unfortunate. This is where I was opting either going Spikes or Toxic Spikes with Greninja. But he will opt to go for Volt Switch. I had to go into Serena here, I really did. But I knew that just allowed Pelipper in and got back up the rain, and this was just going to suck. Because I have no switch into a Pelipper Hurricane just about. And as the Pelipper does come back out, resets the Drizzle, I am forced to switch out here. Serena is not taking Hurricane, not in a million years. I'm not going to let that happen. But as I swap out, I will go into my Thunderous, because it will live one and it threatens him out, so it's a perfectly fine play. As he does go for the Hurricane, and he's doing like over 50%, which is ridiculous. Pelipper's a madman. As he does opt to switch out here, he will go into his Umbreon, which of course would be the best answer, as T-Bolt will be able to two-shot it at this point after poison and such. I believe it two-shots. Actually no, it was just shy of two-shotting, I think, because he does have the leftovers. If it was no leftovers recovery, I would be able to two-shot it there, and Thunderous would be in a better position. As he does go into Umbreon, he's around the same range. I'm going to click it again, because if it does kill, then it didn't really matter. As he lives on a very low percentage, probably like 1 or 2, and he goes for the Baton Pass again. Okay, that's interesting. And he goes into Kingjar, which is the threat here. This is where, this was scary. Okay, that's all I need to say was this was scary. Because, I will make a switch here out of my, from my Thunderous into my, Serena here. And this is where I'm getting really bad with calcs, because, I'm not calcing Rain. So I'm like, which does make a big difference on his, damage roll. So I'm like, oh dang, he's got like a really good roll on like Modest here. I'm like, but this is good, so Rabambi will outspeed the Kingdra if he's Modest. But he's going to withdraw the Kingdra here, go right back into his Pelipper and reset the rain. But I will just freely go for the U-turn here, as I can threaten out this Pelipper again. Finally getting damage off on this Pelipper, and it's not even much. Because U-turns not very effective, and Pelipper is pretty bulky, so. But we go into the Thunderous and we threaten this thing out, which is really nice. I know he's probably just going to sack the Umbreon here, but either way, my play 1,000,000% just to click T-Bolt. As the Umbreon does come out as the sack, as I do go for a T-Bolt and we kill the Umbreon. So Thunderous, ideally, if I was an agility set, this would be a great game right now, but it's whatever. As he goes right back into the Kingdra, and this thing is just a monster. I need to keep Thunderous in order to kill the Pelipper, otherwise I cannot. I go under Revampi on the predicted Draco to try and take out my Milotic or my Serena, as he goes for Hydro Pump and he misses, and I'm like, dang. I'm like, wow, this is unexpected. But I remembered I wanted to calc stuff in Rain. This is where I'm like, dang, that would have done a lot more damage, because I remembered Rain at this point for the calc. I'm like, he's probably timid then still. So I want to swap out in Milotic on the Hydro Pump for sure. As that does so much damage because this man crits me. He misses and gets a crit, so I guess it's fair. But at the same time, this, yeah, puts me in a bad spot. Kingdra will be taking more poison damage, but at this point, Milotic can be taken out by another Hydro Pump, I believe. But my only play here was to recover up in case he did not opt to go for the Hydro Pump. Wow, no, I went for the Dragon Tail. I was a madman, never mind. On the superior switch in, I went for the Dragon Tail. That brings him right back into the Kingdra. As his rain stops, so his Hydro Pump will be doing as much, so he'll be locked in a Draco Meteor here, so even if he takes out Milotic, Revampi comes in for free, which is not his ideal play. So this is a free moment for me, in my opinion, to get a free recover off. So as he does opt to switch out the Kingdra, he can just go right back into Pelipper to reset the rain, because the rain is the scariest part for me right now. And as I said, I will just click recover with my Milotic, and Milotic can luckily take on this Pelipper, so if he doesn't opt to switch out into his Helios or his Superior here, then I benefit from this. Hurricane's gonna be doing a lot, trust me, it will be, but I can at least recover stall it, unless I get confusion and then all that crap happens. And I do also have to protect to limit his Hurricanes, because they do have limited PP. Well, no, I think it's still 16. I think it's 16 still, maybe not. And it also just allows me to get more leftover recovery, as he is just going to click Hurricane again. And he's like, you know what, I'll just get a crit. That's more than justice for a miss, okay? So he gets the crit, we get a recover, but this just put me in a pretty crappy spot, because I really want to protect again. But I knew there was a chance he was going to switch out here and try and benefit from the rain still being up. I was really close to clicking Dragon Tail again here, but the fact was it was way too risky. And I'm just going to opt to click Protect again, as the Helios does come out. I'm going to get up my leftovers back, as he's going to finally take some toxic damage, and I'm like, you know what, Protect again, because this is the whole point of my game plan. Is just click Protect, watch what he's going to do. But this is where time starts getting pretty low. And he does opt to just try and Volt Switch again. I'm like, I live this Volt Switch no matter what. And I really want to stop trying to give this man momentum. So I believe I just recover here with my Milotic. He just goes for Volt Switch. Brings us down to red. I knew I was going to live it, that's why I stayed in. I really didn't want to give him any more momentum, because I was already behind at this point. As I do click recover, and then this still allows me to live a hit from Pelipper on Hurricane, but it's not a switch-in anymore. And I do live a Draco from the Kingdra, but, you know, just small things, like it's annoying. Now, he does show he's the leftover superior, but he is poisoned, so I really doubt he's going to be going for a sub here. He's probably just going for a Leaf Storm, knowing I was just risky with my Milotic. Also, Dragon Tail wouldn't be able to break us up, so it is an option for him, but he can't do too much near the end of this game. So I am just going to switch out here and go right into Rabambe, as I will eat up the Leaf Storm, and then my Bug Buzz does allow to hit him through sub, as if he does opt to go for that. But he does just go for the Leaf Storm, as Rabambe takes that pretty nicely, doing around 40%. He gets the contrary boost, of course, and he gets his leftovers and his poison. Bug Buzz did KO from here, but at the same time I really felt like he wasn't going to make that play. And I wanted to be a little bit smarter with this. Because if I click Bug Buzz, Pelipper just comes in for free again. And then it can either... No, I can just spam her. So I wanted to go for U-turn. I know it's probably going to go for Empower Fire, or it can go for the Leaf Storm again, because Leaf Storm would kill. But I just opt to go into Serena. And he does go for the Empower Fire. Serena was just seemed like an optimal sack at this point. His Kingdra is close to two-shotting with Hydro Pump in range, so there's really no point in keeping it around anymore. And then it's always like just bait for Pelipper, so I really didn't want to keep it in, or keep it alive. So I was really just sending this in to be a sack so I can freely get in Rabambe again, because after this toxic damage to the superior, we'll be able to go down to U-turn, and then I can go right into Thunderous, because this will force out his Pelipper. As I'm a few turns ahead now when I was behind earlier, so he gets his leftovers, and then Toxic will bring him down pretty heavy right here to like 15%, more like 20. But we go into Rabambe, the U-turn will kill here. That is when I'm clicking 1,000,000%. And we do go for the U-turn and take out the superior, which is nice. And my only play here is to go out into Thunderous. One of two things: it forces Helios to come in, or it forces Pelipper to come in and set up the rain. As he just opts to go into the Kingdra, I'm like, I knocked this out with Thunderbolt from here. I knew he was making a double, because there was no other reason for him to go Kingdra. But I didn't make the play. I should have clicked Sludge Wave 1,000,000%, because I killed anything else with two Sludge Waves if they tried to switch in. But I went for the T-Bolt, and the poison puts Helios just out of range from a Sludge Wave on my Thunderous. I needed to get a max roll in order to kill it, and I figured he would have some HP on this Helios anyways. So I just opt to go into Rabambe here. I really don't know if this was the right play. If he picked Thunderbolt, then I was in a really good spot. But he does opt to go for the Volt Switch, and this just allows him to go into his Pelipper this time again. As I'm going to go into Thunderous, as this is the only thing that kill it, and the time is really going low right here. Like, we're about 10 minutes left, I believe, at this point. No, probably less. I think we're like 5 minutes left in this game. Yeah, probably even less than 5. As I go for the T-Bolt, takes out the Pelipper. He 1,000,000% just goes in the Kingdra here. All I have is my Thunderous and the Milotic. 1,000,000%. The only way I win this is if he misses one of his Hydro Pumps or Dracos. As he goes for Draco and he lands it, Thunderous will die to the Draco Meteor for sure. That was the only way I was going to win at this point, is if he missed the move and Thunderous could kill the Kingdra, because then Sludge Wave into Toxic would take out the Helios afterwards. Because he has 2 Pokemon left, it's coming down to time, and the fact is that Helios just messes me up. He just spams Draco here 1,000,000%, so he can keep 2 Mons alive, and just things like that. I don't know what I'm trying to say. So he has 2 Mons alive when the timer runs out. Because if he has only 1 alive, Milotic will win if I have a little bit more HP, because they're both poison and they're running low on health. So I'm just going to recover up here on the Draco, and then I get my lefties. And then it's really nothing much I can do here, as he does take the poison damage. This, I believe, was the final turn. Yeah, he switched out because Dragon Tail wouldn't kill him here. Wish I had like Ice Beam or something at this point, as I clicked recover again in case he just kept spamming Draco. But he just waited for the timer to go down at this point so he could get the for sure win. He still won either way, because this is a Modespecs Helios. Because right here, it lived any hit I went for. And then, it would sorry, I lived any hit it would go for, but it would also live any it would live Dragon Tail after poison, and then I could click Thunderbolt again, or if I clicked recover, then he would just click Thunderbolt again. So I lost that game anyways. There wasn't any unfortunate hacks because he did get the missile Hydro Pump or a Bombay, but that just forced me to switch anyways. Like, if anything, I feel like that benefited him, maybe. I mean, I probably got rid of one Let's Turn to Rain, but I mean, it did cause Bombay to be still around for the superior, I guess, so. But the Rain was definitely a threat, and I just went down to 3 Choice Specs users. I wasn't really expecting that heavy of offense because, I don't know, it just seemed like a lot. But it definitely worked out for him. The T-Spikes thing almost worked. I probably should have brought Protect on a little bit more Mons and a lot of U-Turn, because the fact is they're going to get poisoned once, and then it's just going to rack up. So U-turning out multiple times was just not the best option. I wish I fixed that Thunder Reset with T-Wave, but I mean, and I wish I clicked Sludge Wave on the Heliolisk. If I could have clicked Sludge Wave on the Heliolisk, there was a pretty good chance I could have won that, but that's okay. So that is our first loss for the season. And now this makes our division really close, as Kelly Under the Radar is 4-1 as well. And Lindomar in our division is also 4-1. And Lindomar, when he does get wins, as in he lost week 1 to Hugo, 0-3. But after that, all his wins have been like 4-0 or higher, which is stupid. And he's getting really annoying because that makes his differential really high because he's at the top of the league right now. Or not the league, the division. Maybe the league overall. I think he's actually top of the league. But and this also puts Kelly. I think Kelly's still below me after this week, but he is also 4-1, just a little bit below. So just like APA Showdown, my league is gonna be stupid close near the end game, because we're gonna all have the same opponents pretty much, except for our I think it was our week 1s that were the only ones that were different. Otherwise, we're having all the same opponents. So, well, just gonna have to try our best from around out. Mainly, it's gonna be the late matches that are going to matter the most since the division is going to be close, but going to try our best every week no matter what. And make sure to check out next week as well as my for the APA, as well as my undefeated PMU season right now, as next week for the APA we'll be taking on the Adelaide Umbreons and Coach Kriselke. So that'll be it for me this week. Make sure to sub, like, share, deuces.